Yeah, Dak Prescott hit his hand on a helmet. I don't know if it was on a helmet or at the defender's hand, and he busted up his thumb. Having immediate surgery, not major surgery, but surgery. So he's definitely going to miss a couple of weeks. They're contemplating putting him on IR. I'll tell you right now, Barrett, they won't do that. Jody McDonald with Barrett Brooks today. Johnny Mac winging his way back from Detroit. So we'll get J Mac up here tomorrow, but we got Big B sitting in for him instead. We've been going back and forth on Eagles win yesterday. Let me repeat this again. Eagles win. If I've continually pointed out that the fact that their defense wasn't quite up to snuff, giving up 35 points to a middling offense, that's what I consider Detroit's offense. Don't think that I haven't realized that the final score was Eagles 38, Lions 35. They got a W. Most important thing. Outweighs everything else. But it doesn't mean we can just gloss over the fact that there were some shortcomings. Some major plus points, but some shortcomings in that game. But the bottom line is they are tied for first place.
Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you this, Jody. In looking at it, we got to sit back and think like this. We, at this point, are exactly where we need to be. We won. And just like Jalen Hurts, we're not going to have the Jalen Hurts is going to fill up, 4,500 yards, 36 touchdowns, QBR rating, 105. We're not going to get that. But what we are going to get from Jalen Hurts and what he brings to the table is the most important statistics you can get. And that's him being a game winner. You know what I'm saying? He's going to fill up the win and losses with more wins than losses by the nature of who he is and how he plays the game. So don't worry about all the extracurricular stuff, you know what I'm saying? They will get victories simply because they're just going to do it the hard way. It may not look pretty. It may not look like, you saw with Allen and the Buffalo Bills, but you will get a lot of victories.
All right. I just took a quick peek because I was intrigued by the fact that they've got the Vikings coming in next Monday night game here in Philadelphia. With the way the Eagle offense and defense played yesterday, the way the Viking offense played yesterday, I said, what are they going to set the over-under number at that game? Like 60 or somewhere thereabouts? It's only the third highest over-under number. It's at 49.5, which if you can get the action in now, I would play over on that one. The games that are higher, certainly the Chargers and Chiefs, that makes a lot of sense. Both of their offenses looked pretty damn good yesterday at 54. And if you can get in on this right now, I would advise you to do so. A lot of places are not available, but some are offering. The over-under on the Cowboys and the Bengals. The Bengals yesterday had major problems. A lot of it stemmed from their
QB.
The QB getting crushed because the offensive line didn't get any better. Their offensive line, despite the fact that they made it to the Super Bowl, almost got them killed last year. So they invested in upgrading there, brought in a couple of free agents, drafted there. Burrow still got sacked 7 times yesterday.
That's crazy.
And unfortunately for them, their long snapper got hurt, so they had PAT issues, and they end up losing to the Steelers in week 1. Cincinnati against Dallas, the under-over at 50.5. Are you kidding me? Dallas doesn't have their quarterback. There's going to be no doubt. Cooper Rush is going to put up a 30 spot? I don't think so.
Well, remember, he did do that the last time he came in as a reserve. He came in and actually lit it up, won both games that he was in. Was it 2 or 1?
He's Cooper Rush.
I know, but he actually beat Minnesota last year.
All right.
So
I would
now they're gonna get smashed. Yeah, you're right. They're gonna get smashed.
He's Cooper Rush. If they win the game, and maybe he's got a winning thing going, but he's not going to win it 37-35. Is my point. I'd be shocked.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
If they
go with the
way to. And then the Cowboys with Michael Parsons. Oh, by the way, that guy's still a stud. He made a couple of plays, 2 sacks in the first half.
2 sacks.
He's pretty damn good. I'm not writing the Cowboys on. I think they'll probably get beat with Cooper Rush down, but they're not putting up a whole bunch of points. Yeah, Dak Prescott hit his hand on a helmet. I don't know if it was on a helmet or at the defender's hand, and he busted up his thumb. Having immediate surgery, not major surgery, but surgery. So he's definitely going to miss a couple of weeks. They're contemplating putting him on IR. I'll tell you right now, Barrett, they won't do that.
Well,
If there's a chance that he can be back in 3 weeks, there's no way they're missing out on that because, we put him on IR. That means we can't use him for 4. They're going to have him as an inactive. They're not going to put him on the injured. Write it down unless he has the surgery and they go, oh, my God, it's that much worse. He's going to be out 2 months. If there's any chance he can come back in 3 weeks, they're going to play to that and keep that open as a possibility.
I can't see him doing that. I can't see him, I can't see him putting him on IR, but I don't think he comes back in 3 weeks. That's if he has to get surgery, it will almost be like Harper. You know what I mean? Harper came back in a month and a half. We're talking about at least, the very least, with surgery, 4 weeks for him to come back. So I mean, they might be better off doing that and just allowing him to heal. But I can't see him coming back. If he needs surgery, I can't see him coming back in nowhere less than 4 weeks. So I mean, it might behoove them to go ahead and put him on IR.
If he's guaranteed to be out for 4 weeks, all right, then you put him on IR.
Right.
But if it's in any way, and I mean like the smallest percentage chance that he could be back in 3, they will keep that door open. They will not put it. They do not want to go as long as they can with Cooper. They want to get the Cooper Rush era to be as short as possible, even though Dak really didn't do anything last night.
It's a clean break, too. It's a clean break, meaning...
Right. So maybe they're thinking the healing can go that quickly. We'll see. All I know is the Eagles play the Cowboys in 5 weeks. So even if they put him on IR, he'd be eligible to come back the week after, but it'll be a guy who has not played in a month, and that's advantageous for the Eagles. But the other 2 teams in the NFC East found a way to win yesterday, Barrett. I didn't watch any of the Commanders against the Jags. Sorry, Carson Wentz. Sorry, Doug Peterson. You were on up against the Eagles. You had no chance of grabbing my attention.
No,
but
me neither.
To Carson Wentz's credit, got to give him props. Trailing in the second half, threw 2 touchdown passes, one to Scary Terry McLaurin, another one to who got the second touchdown pass? I can't remember off the top of my head. Was it one of their backs? It wasn't a tight end, the other wide receiver. But he did. He threw 2 touchdown passes in the fourth quarter. Second one coming late to lift the Commanders to a victory. Carson Wentz throw any fear to you, Big B, this year?
No. Carson eventually get back to being Carson. He just, to me, he doesn't see anything is wrong with him. So why would you change if you don't think anything's wrong? He just thinks he was slighted by both organizations, had nothing to do with him. So he's not learning from any of the experience he's having. I guess, he's hard-headed in any aspect that, all right, he knows it all. He can no longer learn because he knows it all. That's when you're on the regression instead of a progression. When you know it all and you can't take constructive criticism, and he can't take that. So I don't see him being any better than he was in Indy. But in Indy, he was pretty damn good, though. He played pretty well. It's just the last 2 or 3 games is where he just lost it all.
And the team that actually probably painted his way out of Indianapolis was Jacksonville. Beat him late in the season. So yesterday he got a little revenge on Jacksonville. He got a little revenge on Doug Peterson. I'm not saying he deserved any, Doug. We don't blame you, Coach Doug P. But surely Carson did. It was Jahan Dotson who made the late catch, the rookie from Penn State, 24-yard touchdown. So give the nod to you, Carson. The exact opposite of what happened last year. You were clutch late rather than coming up small late like you did against Jacksonville last year. So the Commanders get out to a 1-0 start. Now, the other NFC East winning team, I did get a chance to watch. The Giants were able to pull out a victory at Tennessee. Tennessee with a double-digit lead in the second half, couldn't hold on. Saquon Barkley, when he's healthy, I had a guy on my national show last night, Barrett, calling in and saying Saquon Barkley is the best running back in the NFL. I can't go there because he's just been too injured too often, and you have guys that have performed more and better than he has in the league. But he was on the field with one of them yesterday, and he was the best back on the field by far. Sorry, King Henry. Saquon won the day. He is probably the biggest breakaway weapon in the National Football League, and he did absolutely carry the Giants to that win yesterday. And Brian Daboll showing that he's got nerve by going for 2 at the end of the game rather than just kicking a PAT and going for overtime. Giants got something going with their new head coach and general manager up there in New York.
Saquon definitely does. It's they still got Daniel Jones being the the quarterback of that team, but I think they have a lot of confidence in Saquon, him coming back, and then just listening to him and how he's matured as a player. I mean, he's only going to keep getting back to that status that he had when he was a rookie. He's going to be a formidable threat that they're going to have to look at, when they do play the Giants. But it's still, Daniel Jones's team, and because of that, they won't be as good. But they did play well against an inept Tennessee offense.
I'm not a Daniel Jones fan either, but he did go 17 of 21. That's pretty good. 17 of 21, Barrett. Only $188, so under 200 yards. Threw a couple of touchdowns, also through a ill-timed pick.
Yes, he'll still give it up.
He was okay yesterday. He game managed it well enough for the Giants to hang in there and find a way to win late. But then again, I'm not that big Ryan Tannehill fan either, so I didn't like either of the 2 quarterbacks in that game yesterday.
Right. But Joe, you got to understand, Saquon had 164 yards rushing, averaged 9.1 yards a carry. That's where they won the game. You know what I mean? That's their offensive line did get a little better, but yes, they won that game because of Saquon. Daniel did run around a little bit to keep from getting stuck on getting sacked, but at the end of the day, Saquon was everything you wanted from a player.
Yeah, he goes for $160, and Derrick Henry only goes for 82. That's pretty significant. So,
yes, it is. Yes,
and I was a guy who defended the Barkley pick when they took him with the 2nd overall pick. People say, "How can you take a running back that high? You just can't do it. It's a dumb pick." And I thought it wasn't a dumb pick because I said I do believe he's a every 10-year talent type back, and he hasn't been because he can't stay on the field because he's always hurt. But when he does play, he can be scary. And
he's all world when he plays. All world.
Eagles are going to have to try and stop him a couple of times this year. All right, so both the Commanders and the Giants win. Cowboys lose. Not the results we necessarily were banking on or looking for. I thought the Giants would probably get beat down in Tennessee. I thought the Commanders, Jags was a toss-up. I thought the Cowboys were going to lose to the Buccaneers. But what do you think of the results after week 1 in division?
This is still a bad division. Like it or not, we're still in a bad division. And with Dallas being the way they are, it only weakens the division even more. Dallas will not stay down. They'll stay down until Dak gets back. But at the end of the day, the Eagles should take full advantage of this and keep rocking and rolling, man. We should win this division hands down. For the first time, we should sweep Dallas. We should sweep the whole division.
You think they're going to go 4-0 in division?
Yes.
You and I both. I said that last week here on Birds 365. Yep. Big B, here's one tricky trivia question for you. How many teams in the NFL last year went 6-0 in division?
Probably none.
1. Would you like to take a guess who it was?
In a division.
6-0. One 6-0 team in division last year.
Cincinnati?
Not the Cincinnati Bengals. I give you a big time hint. They got their 6th and final win the last week of the season.
The Rams?
No. They got their 6th and final win last week of the season here in Philadelphia.
Tampa?
The Cowboys went 6-0
wow.
last year. They were the only team in the National Football League that went undefeated, which to me means 5-0 because the Eagles last game of the season doesn't count because the Eagles played the JV. So that's you want to take that victory lap, go ahead, Dallas. But even if you don't count the game, they're still 5-0, which means they're the only undefeated team in the NFL. Yeah, I think the Eagles can win all 6 games in division this year. Even though the Commanders found a way to win yesterday, even though the Giants found a way to win yesterday, I just think the Eagles are more talented than anybody in this division.
Well, you mean you're not saying anything that we haven't been talking about in national. People have been saying the same thing, that the Eagles should be and will be the division winners. We know this. But at this point, I hope that they don't think it gets any easier. And that's the big thing. I hope they don't think it gets any easier. I think this showed them, kind of scared them a little bit in the aspect that, all right, this division is up in the air, but we're still the best team in the division. We played against a team that only won 3 games last year and almost lost the game. So we got to get on it and start practicing a little bit harder, getting a little better shape and understanding what it is to go out there and play in the NFL. They got to get back into the speed of being a dominant team. And the only way you can do that is practicing a little bit harder, doing a little extra running, making sure a little extra prep time as far as, what they're going to go forward with as far as the game plan. Because you could kind of tell they were a little bit surprised, especially at the beginning, with them running traps. They didn't expect that. They didn't expect that Detroit was going to take advantage of their aggressive nature of getting up the field. And that's how they were able to win that. Traps, counters. That's how they got them out of sync and were able to gash them a little bit.
And you're cutting them slack. I'm calling them on the carpet for saying you got to be ready for that. And or if they catch you off, hey, good second guess. It's a mind game between the offense coordinator, defense coordinator, every single play during an NFL game. And if they outguessed Gannon a couple times, okay, fine. They outguessed them at every single turn, and that's not acceptable. I do want to ask you this. As an ex-offensive lineman in the National Football League, I thought Dallas Goedert had an outstanding game yesterday.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
3 catches and 4 targets. I'm trying to remember the one that they weren't able to connect. I don't even remember it off the top of my head. And turned it upfield and made extra yardage after the catch for 60 yards on 3 catches, which is outstanding. Again, last year, he was the number 1 tight end in football, and there were some other pretty damn good tight ends in football in yards per catch. And yesterday he goes for 60 on 3 catches, which is 20 yards per catch, which is outstanding. And he also did a pretty good job when he was in tight on running plays, blocking. He's one of the better blocking tight ends. How much does that make your life easier as an offensive lineman? When on your side, you got the tight end with you to lend you a helping hand. How much does that make your life easier?
Loved it, man. I played with it, kind of the same, not the same as far as athleticism, but I'm talking about a blocking tight end. I played with Ed West. They used to call him Toolbox. Toolbox was nothing but an offensive lineman with an 80 jersey on, an 80s number jersey on. Toolbox would play, man. Ed West, he was like, blocking with an extra tackle on the outside. It made things a little easier for myself, knowing that he was there. And my rookie year, of course, they gave me a lot of help because I was a rookie until midway through the season, and they had Antone, and Antone started giving them sacks, and then they moved, west to the other side. So now I'm by myself for the remainder of the year. I did all right, man, but it's you cannot expect a guy like Dallas Goedert to stay in the block, go out on passing routes. You have to account for him. And I think that's where he, his biggest worth is for this team. He is very, very good at going out there and making plays, after the catch. That's where the difference between him and Ertz is. He can get open, but his run after the catch is a lot more than what Ertz could do. He's a dominating tight end when it comes to that. He was able to go out there and really be an impact in the pass game. And like I say all the time, a young quarterback, a tight end is probably his best friend. And especially when you have those horses on the outside. When you got Smith on one side and Brown on the other side, you can't sit there and double team him. You can't keep an extra guy in the box. It just really helps you because now he can roam the interior of that defensive backfield and makes him, hey, he's faster than linebackers. He's bigger than most safeties. He is definitely a weapon they're going to take advantage of more as the season goes on.
And, oh, by the way, I'm kind of giving Gannon a hard time here today. I'm the defensive line coach because I thought they got dominated yesterday. Yeah, shame on the defensive coach of the Lions as well. when A.J. Brown is just tearing you up, I mean, abusing you on the outside. Now, the Lions' defensive secondary, I think, is okay at best. But at some point, you got to make an adjustment. You got to double team him. The probably few times that he did, that's what Jalen did. Turned to his tight end, got the ball to Goedert, because Goedert not only made catches, he made plays, turn upfield. One play, he had nobody near him. Nobody in the same picture. That's just a defensive breakdown or a defense corner going, damn it, we're not going to let A.J. Brown catch us with two guys on him the entire time. And that's credit to Jalen Hurts, because I know the offensive scheme isn't let him drop back, let him read all the defensive options, and let him pick out where he wants to go. No, they've narrow focused that he's got his first option, second option. And yesterday, oh, by the way, he needed to get to both of those pretty damn quick, because Detroit did bring the heat. They brought extra guys on a lot of passing plays, and Jalen turned the ball upfield and made plays with his leg. But when he needed to, he got the ball to Goedert, and Goedert was a key component in the offense. Jay wasn't A.J. Brown yesterday, but he was a key component for them.
Jody,
you
got to give credit to Steichen on that, because Steichen had an offense that you couldn't really get in there and double team AJ as much as he wanted to. He had AJ in the slot. He had him out wide. He put AJ everywhere to keep them from getting a bead on stopping him. I mean, the way he ran routes was amazing yesterday. Like, he would stem guys so far out. He just stem guys almost 3 or 4 steps to the outside and then go in on the slant play. And it was almost unstoppable. They even tried to bring a linebacker and fade him out to that side. He was still able, Jalen Hurts, credit him, he was still able to get the ball to him on a slant play. And then the run after the catch, it was amazing also. You could tell those two were in sync. And there's no tougher wide receiver in the league when he's on like that than A.J. Brown. I mean, he even showed some speed going down. And the way he caught that deep 9 route pass, he took off, but then he slowed down enough, bodied up the DB, and then as soon as the ball was in the air and going to get it, he accelerated then to catch it. That's just a wide receiver understanding how to run routes, how to manipulate in the defense, and just being a better football player than the DB had on it, which was a first rounder. He had a first rounder on him, held him back on his hip, was able to catch the long pass play, and then yards after the catch. If he had like 2 more seconds, he'd have probably scored, because that DB was falling off him and he was going. And if it weren't for the safety coming back over the top, he probably would have scored on that play.
And oh, by the way, one last note: we'll get a timeout in here, and Brandon Lee Gouton of Bleeding Green Nation, BLG, is going to hop aboard, and we'll get all his thoughts on the 38-35 Eagles win. For Quez Watkins. Good job on the kickoff returns, Quez. He had 3 kickoff returns, didn't muff any of them, didn't break one, but didn't do a bad job on them. And it's a good thing he was involved in the kickoff returns, because, I'm still waiting for the first pass to go Quez's way. He was a non-factor on offense yesterday, because A.J. Brown got 13 targets. 13-0. And I know Quez is not A.J. Watkins, but that was a little surprise. Devontae only had 4 targets, and they did not connect on any of them. Am I nitpicking here? Because I want to sing the praises of the offense putting up a 38 spot. The fact that they didn't spread the ball around?
Well, I mean, they tried to. He did go to Smitty 4 times. Smitty caught it 1, but it was a penalty, holding penalty by the offensive line. So it got, nullified. He did have 1 catch, but, Smitty didn't have a catch. Watkins didn't have a catch. But you got other weapons. You saw how this team, Gainwell, he got a couple catches. This team can be very versatile. Miles Sanders got some catches, some check down. Zach Pascal got 1 catch for 7 yards.
Yeah, made a nice play on the ball.
Yep. Noah Taglioa, Tagaya, whatever his name is. Tungiai, yeah. He was targeted once, dropped it. But, I mean, he was trying to disperse the ball. Jalen Hurts was trying to disperse the ball as well as he could. But, hey, if he throws it to you, you don't catch it, it's not his fault. You get it to you. You got to be able to catch it.
All right, he is Barrett Brooks. I'm Jody McDonald. We are your Birds 365 duo today. Johnny Mac coming back from Detroit. He'll be back here tomorrow. We've got Big B sitting in for him today. We've got Brandon Lee Gout, another Big B in his own right. There aren't too many guys that get to look down at Barrett Brooks. Brandley Gouton actually happens to be
Yes.
one of them. A big boy. Yeah, we'll punch up BLG next. Keep it here on Birds 365.